A couple things. Hard to believe we got 4 games left. We've gone 8 straight right out of camp, and we're about to do 9. So it has gone fast. Obviously, last weekend was a tough one. We let one get away, had a lead with less than 2 minutes, and we couldn't stop them. But we got to fail fast to move on. And this week we got 22 seniors going to have senior day. Seniors have been a huge part of this program. Me coming in and the transition, which is statistically very difficult to do, and they're the ones that have held us together. So it'll be a special day for them on Saturday. So we've been, we kind of center the whole week around them. We have 2 home games left. Bowling Green and Ball State next 2 in a row for the first time. So we're excited to play at home and have some energy for this Saturday's game. And we obviously the last game's midweek, so that's we chose Saturday to have senior day because they're easier for their families to get here, and they'll have bigger groups here because it really is a celebration of those guys. And so we're excited to hopefully send them off the right way.
You've talked so glowingly about your defense the last couple of weeks, and with good reason. What do you say to a unit that has played so well, that has a tough night, and now you got 4 weeks, you got to go? What do you say to them?
Yeah, the biggest thing is they have to get back. We got to find the issues, you know what I mean, and you got to figure out, and show them what they did, what they didn't accomplish, and it's fundamentals. I mean, we have to tackle better, we have to wrap up better, we have to reroute better, we have to shoot our hands better at the D line, eye discipline. We knew they were going to do a little bit of jet sweep stuff because when they had their Wildcat guy in there, we didn't know that the other quarterback was going to do a lot of it. I told him before the game that the eye discipline was going to be huge because with the young guy, they were going to do a lot of smoke mirrors, quick throws, and give them credit. They did a great job. They executed. That kid had a great game, but we didn't play. We didn't run to the ball well enough. It's easy when you want to figure out if a team ran to the ball. Just look at the stats and see how many assisted tackles they had versus solo tackles. Last week we had 52 assisted tackles and 32 solo tackles. This week we had 50-some solo tackles and 30-some assisted tackles. And so you can easily tell if they were running to the ball the way it should be, because then a missed tackle gets you another 2 yards, not a 3-yard gain doesn't turn into a 12-yard gain. So that's the biggest thing is they gotta keep their confidence. What they did a couple games before was real, but we got to get them out there and get them back to playing fundamentally the right way. There wasn't guys. I think they got us on one double move, but there weren't guys running wide open. It wasn't like the holes were huge. I mean, we just got to get up blocks and make tackles, and offensively on the flip side of that, we got to finish a game. We had the ball twice in the fourth quarter with the 1-point lead, and we didn't go down. And I don't know if we would have put them away with a score, but we didn't extend our lead. And yes, it was a hard game. Yes, we only had the ball 25 minutes. We only had 8 drives. I mean, they did a great job of holding the ball and keeping us on the sideline and keeping Bells on the sideline. And when we needed it, we got down 6. We went down and scored. But I would like to see us, if you want to be great. I would like to see us not go 3 and out twice in the fourth quarter. Great, you made the drive when we needed it, but we need it every time. So plenty of stuff to push and challenge both sides of the ball. I always tell them all I want is all you got, and I don't think we really put it all out there, and that's disappointing, and that's something I got to get fixed.
I know that the focus is always on the next game, trying to keep things right in front of you. But with only 4 guaranteed games left in the season, do the goals change at this point, or do things shift?
No, not really. You just win the next one. I mean, that's kind of always the montage, no matter whether things are going good or bad. We use the win principle. What's important now? Whatever's right in front of you. It's Coach Holtz's saying. It's up on our locker room. He just spoke to our team this morning. I told the team, like, what does win stand for? And they say, what's important now? I was like, yeah, I stole it from him. This guy's standing right here, and so it was a neat morning for us. I got to meet him last night and talk to him about football this morning, and he got a chance to address our team. But yeah, you just keep, his thing was 8 hours. You got 8 hours to complain and feel bad after a game. That's what he told our team this morning. And then after that, it's all about the next game. It's about BG. It's about how can we play better than we did last week and put ourselves in a position to win the game. We did put ourselves in a position to win the game last week, but we didn't. But we have to play better so that we're able to finish games, And so, it's the fail fast and move on, montage. And like I said, if we were undefeated, we'd be doing the same thing, But every game matters. Mathematically, we're still in it. I don't know how that happens, but it's crazy this year, And but really, we got to win one game, and then we'll worry about the second one after that.
You mentioned the seniors, but when you look at some of the names in that group and what they've accomplished, what does this class mean to you?
To me, and I hate to say it, and not from the football side of things, like I don't know if you ever saw the article written like 2 years ago on SB Nation. There were an article about new coaches from outside a program coming in and taking over a program, and the statistics are from the last 9 to 10 times it's happened over the last 10 years in our league, it's not been pretty. I think the average amount of wins in the first 2 years is like 2. So statistically, we were in trouble. When I took over, I knew what I was coming into. When you hire from within, you have a better shot of keeping it going. But when you hire from outside, it didn't matter if it was Bowling Green when Dino left or Central when Kelly left. I mean, it's downhill fast. And they kept us together. I knew that we were supposed to win 4 games combined in our first 2 years, because that's what the stats tell us is going to happen. And I was very blunt and honest with them that we knew that it was going to be tough and we needed them, and they did. I mean, not that we've killed it by any means, but we definitely haven't done what everyone else did in the last 10 years when these situations happened, And he went through each one and like what their record was, and so I give them all the credit for welcoming me in. We've worked on building relationships and keeping us afloat to not let it go down the path that it's gone down everywhere else, and of course there's some really good football players in there too, So it's fun to see Bells have the year he's having. It's fun to see Gio run around, and John, and so those guys are, Balabani's been one you can always count on. I'm going to miss that kid, and so it's been fun to watch those guys keep us together through a transition, and not let what we were all afraid would happen. It didn't happen,
Why do you think it is that a lot of those new coaching regimes in this conference struggle?
It's hard. Normally one of two things can happen. You take over a team that doesn't have any talent, or you take over a team that just won and had talent, and you're never going to, they're not going to buy in. And either one of those things, it's hard to win when you have some good players that don't buy in, because the level of, we're all playing with the same guys. I mean, it's really close. You have guys that don't buy in, or you have guys that just aren't very good, depending on what type of team you're taking, or whether it's a MAC championship team or a team that struggled, So, so it's taken 2 years for everybody, and then they turn, you look at Miami, Ohio. I mean, there's tons. They go through all of them in that article, and but it's one of those two reasons in it, because you need it all. You need to have talent, and you need to have buy-in, and they need to all be on the same page, and care about one another, from coaches to player to player to player. And that doesn't just happen overnight. When you're talking about winning, like if you're going to win the whole thing, I mean, you're going to be in a bunch of tight ball games. You're going to win a bunch of close ones, and you need everything to get that going, So, and that's really hard to do in your first time. Now, if you were the offensive coordinator and you take over and you already have those relationships built, it's a lot easier. Like when Candle took over, or some of the northern ones have all been from within. It's the first time they've hired from this way outside, So it's unique. It's something you watch, because when you take over, I took over 2 other programs that were hadn't won in a long, long, long time, and those were easier takeovers to get the buy-in, but we didn't have a lot of players. Here it was all about the buy-in and not so much the players. I think we have good players already, and so it's each one's different, and you just try to get them to understand the formula. And when the trust and the relationships are real, which you can see, I can see it building, especially on our defensive side of the ball. Like hearing Tranquil talk last week about what's happening there and how they're starting to believe. And it didn't work out great last week, but that part is so essential to being able to take it to the next level, which is what we're trying to do.
I know the stretch hasn't always been easy. The last couple games of the season since you've been here haven't always been easy.
Yeah.
having an upright John Wassink, how does that change, the end of the season this time?
Yeah, ask Toledo that question, right? I mean, it's when you have a when you have a starting quarterback go down, it changes everything, and it's you can sometimes get a little bit of a rally, which we did. I think the first time Caleb went in last year, they rallied. I mean, we did pretty good, but for that person to not have experience back there is extremely difficult, and we've lived it, and it's not easy to do. To have him healthy is huge right now. To have him feels good. He's getting more and more healthy. He's banged up a little bit. Got banged up in Toledo. He was better last 2 weeks ago. He's way better, and now I think he's probably back to full speed now. But it's fun. It's going to be a totally different last 4 games for us. Just having him. I think it was this game last year, wasn't it? It was the third play when he got hurt. But he's playing well. He's managing our offense well. I still have some things. I'm pretty hard on the quarterback, so there's a couple things I want him to get better at. But if you look at his numbers, he's efficient. He's doing all the things. I want him to be great because I think he can be, and he's shown flashes of being great. And we need him to be great, So and having Bells makes his job a heck of a lot more fun, So we got to continue to find ways to score more points. I know you don't get a lot of possessions. You have to capitalize. 4 of 8's pretty good. You only get about 14 possessions a game. We had 8 this weekend. So that's a tough sled, and we were pretty efficient, but, you got to score. We have to outscore our opponent. That's the offense's job, and we didn't do that.
From up top in the press box last Saturday, it kind of looked like the corners were sagging off their receivers quite a bit. Is that something that you wanted to do coming in, thinking that Mike Glass would be the quarterback, and they'd go?
Wait, they throw the ball down the field more, yeah. And the problem is they're a really good vertical. I think they threw the ball down the field 4 times out of 45 throws, and we were squeezing them down a little bit more. The hard part was we knew the backup. The one thing we did know about the backup, he's a good runner, And the hard part about playing man coverage is when you have an athletic quarterback playing man coverage is there's no quarterback player. So if he gets out, everyone's back's turned, it's gone. And that's why you're seeing more and more athletic quarterbacks because the way to beat RPO offense, a lot of teams are doing is they're playing man. You get more teams going to more athletic quarterbacks. So if you want to go man, now you can't go man against an athletic quarterback. So so we tried to keep it in front, make him make the throws, make him execute. He did, but you got to come and make tackles. When they should be 3-yard gains, they're turning into 7-yard gains. We couldn't get off the field that way, And he did. He made a couple, I think, like I said, 4 or 5 downfield throws that we need to break up, One, we didn't reroute the guy in a big 3rd and 8 on the final drive. We got to reroute that guy 100% of the time, And he got right up. That was a heck of a throw, and we almost got it. But if he's rerouted, it's an incompletion, So it's all those little fundamental things that we need to fix so that we're going to make that kid earn it. They did a good job of making him throw quick, and so we couldn't get to him. They didn't drop him back much. It was 1-2 ball, 1-2 ball, 1-2 ball. Which was smart. And but we just come up and tackle them. They got a punt. And that's something we worked on today.
When I asked Coach, you only have 4 guaranteed games left. I know that often you guys try to just look at what's in front of you. But, as a senior with not many opportunities left, what's your mentality now as your career kind of winds down at Western?
I think my mentality is going to remain the same. I don't feel as if I'll change anything because I feel like ever since I came into Western Michigan, I've always given it all I had. So I feel like my mentality is going to remain the same and keep giving all I got and leave it all on the line every game. And at the end of the season, if it's the MAC championship, it's the MAC championship. If at the end of the season there's nothing, there's nothing. But I feel like me and our team's going to we are going to give it everything that we have, and then we'll just see where we end up at the end of the season.
Senior day, I know that you guys have another game after that, so that maybe is nicer for you though. But what are the emotions of senior day going to be like? I guess as a prediction.
Right, exciting. I watch guys like Jimmy Kristoff, way back in 2015, Willie Beavers, Taylor Moten, Zach Turrell, Corey Davis, Daniel Braverman. I watched the guys who came before me. So I don't feel as if I'm sad that that it's the last, time that we'll all be together as one, because I feel like we'll always be together. I feel as if it's more of a celebration, a party, because of how far we've come together. We all started as individuals when we first came into Western Michigan. We didn't know each other. We all came from different backgrounds. Now we all together as one. You couldn't tell where who is from. We all now share a companionship. We all share accents. We all talk like each other. We all breathe the same air. So it's just, I feel like for this game, it's just going to be a lot of excitement. It should be a very live crowd, and it's just going to be a hype game.
All of those players you mentioned, future Broncos will mention your name in with theirs from now on. Mm-hmm. What do you think your legacy is as a Western Michigan football player?
If my legacy is anything, I think it'd just be a hard worker. I could care less if you ever say I was the worst running back here, the best running back here, smallest, fastest. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't matter to me. I feel like my legacy is more mental. I feel like my legacy is more heart. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, when I leave here, I want people to say about me that I was one of the hardest workers on the team and that I never gave up. I don't want you to remember the stats. I don't want you to remember the yards, the touchdowns, the big plays. I want you to remember, when he was hurt and we need him to go back in, he went back in the game. I want you to know that, if we needed that inch, Bell was going to give you everything he had to get that inch.
A couple weeks ago here, Justin Tranquil was talking about how far Gio Ricci has come in his career. Is there any one of your senior teammates that you think is really just come a really long way from their freshman year with you?
You are right about Gio. I do feel like he's come a long way, from where he first started at. I feel like you have to remember that he was a quarterback in high school. So him made a transformation to be a receiver and then now a tight end, that's a blessing and a curse for him. But I'm glad that, things worked out the way they did. I feel like a lot of guys came a long way. Stephon Claiborne came a long way from when he first came in. Anton Curtis, he was a quarterback in high school. He was converted to receiver and then ended up at DB, So I feel like a lot of those guys, they came in, they worked, and they just became a lot better. Dwayne Eskridge, he was a running back in high school, converted to wide receiver. Then he played wide receiver and DB. Just a lot of guys who are very versatile and who are very willing to learn, step up, and compete, no matter what position they play.
You guys you're just in general, you guys are young. I don't know what your knowledge of the game of college football and the history of it is, but there's a lot of teams that would love to have Lou Holtz come in and talk to them. What was that experience like for you guys?
It was great. I feel like it came at the right time. We needed Lou Holtz to come in, and step in and speak to us about the way things had went, the way things were going. And surprisingly, he knew a lot about our team. He had a lot of knowledge on just the game of football and the game of life. The one thing I take away from what he said was fail fast and move on, right? You have 8 hours after the game is over, right, to dwell on what happened in the game. That's why the Lord, right, he put your eyes in front of you and not behind you. You know what I'm saying? What happened before you can't change. You can't change the past anymore. After the game's over, you lost. Fail fast and move on. Now it's time to look forward at the Bowling Green game, and hopefully we come out with a win.